So, as you might have heard, my name is Jani Anttonen. I work for Equilibrium, and I'm here to present to you XRPL Hooks Builder, which is a web-based IDE / playground. It's been a gorgeous team effort between us and XRPL Labs, who are the original creators of the proposal for XRPL Hooks. So, a quick refresher on hooks themselves. They're a smart contract proposal, which means it's not accepted as canon yet. They work quite differently from regular smart contracts in a way that they're more so like event listeners than smart contracts. You have a stack of hooks, either on or incoming and outgoing payments, and they're ordered and they're account based. So each account must deploy their own hooks for them to work, and they all must execute properly for the transaction to go through. They're written in C currently, and they're compiled to WASM. But there's assembly script support on the way. So what are they good for? Mostly, or the best case scenario is payment filtering or transaction filtering. So you could create a allow list of accounts that can pay you or transact with you in any way. Or you could compensate your carbon emissions on incoming payments even. So if somebody's spamming you with free money, you can compensate for that with carbon credits automatically. So, Hooks Builder then. It is a web-based IDE / playground that is coded in Next.js and TypeScript. And then we have a backend compiler / language server that works with the UI to create suggestions and stuff, and compiles the C to WASM. And there's a linear workflow. So that means there's develop, deploy, and test. And you could skip these. You are not required to develop first. You could also just test your pre-existing hooks on the UI. And there's a list of example hooks to choose from. So we have this kind of hook store type of thing where users can deploy ready-made hooks that are being audited, where they're not audited yet, but in the future they will, and create their own hooks that way. And there's gist sharing via GitHub login. So this is the view you're presented with when you open up the editor. There's a list of hooks to choose from. So this is great for new users because you need to deploy your own hooks for them to work with your account. This is great for newcomers. You can just pick one, deploy, test it works, and you're done. And when you open up an example, here we have a carbon credit example, which works with incoming transactions. So this is exactly the somebody's spamming you with free money stuff, and you wanna do carbon credits based on that. There's a full editor, and if this looks familiar, that's because it is. It's using Monaco, which is the same editor backend that's used in VS Code, for example. And in the bottom there's a development log, which means it shows you if the compilation's done correctly and all the errors that have occurred. And in the top right there's the tabs, develop, deploy, tests, and there's also light mode if you're into that stuff. It's a dark mode by default. So here I've made a rookie mistake of not adding a semicolon to the end of that line. And the editor is telling me that, and it's suggesting that I'd insert a semicolon. Once we do that, it compiles, ta-da, and there's your link to deploy. And when you go to deploy, there's a deploy configuration modal, which looks like this. And it creates these inputs by default. These are the defaults. I'd recommend you not touching them unless you know what you're doing. But the one you should touch is the invoke on transactions part, which means that you can specify any transaction type you want the hook to invoke on. And currently it's selecting payments. And then there's fee, etc., etc. And you can add more parameters if you need them. Once we're deployed, you have a test view. And you can use this test view. This is actually great for testing pre-existing hooks you have deployed earlier. And there's a default payment view, payment tests. And these tests are created in JSON, specified in JSON. And yeah, there's things like flags and stuff in there. Then there's accounts on the top right. And by default, we have Alice as the test account. And all test accounts on the testnet currently get 10,000 XRP. And you can request more if that's what you like. You can create new test accounts or use ones you have created earlier. And this is great for testing like pre-existing hooks because, well, yeah, you could have deployed something earlier and you want to test it out. And they can be edited, copy-pasted as JSON as well. And yeah, in here we're sending out 100 XRP from Bob to Alice and test out if the carbon credit thingy works for incoming payments for Alice. And ta-da, it works. So we ran the test. We got on the bottom right a debug log, which means that, yeah, that prints out just anything the hooks print. And there we can see the carbon incoming payments hook has fired correctly. And somebody's sending us free money. We get compensated for that with carbon credits. So we're fine. What are the next steps? Next steps are, we're currently playing with assembly script, as I mentioned earlier. So that's probably a bit easier to develop with than C, although you're not writing a huge amount of code either way with hooks. They're quite concise. And we're also playing with compilation in browser because, well, right now we're running a compilation backend with Docker, and that's not like ideal. If we get a lot of users, it would be better if people would be enabled to compile their hooks in browser. And once this is open source, as it is, I invite you all to create your own hooks examples to the IDE. So that view you saw earlier, the starting view with the hooks, We need more hooks for users to play with and deploy. So if there's like any NFT hooks you can come up with, etc., please feel free to open up a PR. And then there's multiple like usability improvements that are on the way, like flags, for example. Right now, if you want to use flags in transactions, you need to go to the documentation and copy paste the numeric value of that flag you want to use. But yeah, we want to make it easier, so that's coming. And just keep on keeping on. Thank you. If you got any questions, by the way, I'm not a hook expert, but I can tell you about front-end stuff. Those. It's starter. It's a basic like blank slate basically, and then there's firewall for like spam prevention and oh damn, it's done. Well, we have still 3.5 minutes, but okay. Then there's the carbon one, and then there's a Peggy, which is a Oracle-based stablecoin hook. I don't know what that does, but go and try it out. Yeah, this is live, by the way. This is all is live on testnet currently, so you can play around. What? Zapier? Yeah, it's listening to outgoing and incoming payments of an account or transactions. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But I guess you'd have to ask the XRPL Labs guys about that one. We're making the ID, so. Yeah, if there's anything else. No? Thanks.